Hello thrillers, welcome back to another tutorial today on Beyonce Thrills. If you are interested in this video, we would like you to ride on with us. So here I have my fabric. This is a 3.5 yards of a crepe fabric with my lining, and this is a soft gum stay, as you can see, the softest one. And this is, I have a sequin trimming here. I have a shoulder part which I may put or I may skip. So here is my fabric unfold already. As you can see, this is the folded part with the lining under it. So the amount to fold here is the bias body circumference, and my client's case is my hip, which is 38 divided by 4, it's 9.5, then plus 6 to 7 inches extra. This is my center front. Also, you go ahead and mark out your 0.5 inches starting point line. From here, shoulder to bust 9.75, shoulder to waist 15.5. Shoulder to hip 25, and the length of the dress is 41 inches. A hemming allowance of 1 inch, neck width of 3 inches. Then the shoulder to shoulder of my client is 15 inches divided by 2, because this is folded into 2, is 7.5, so I mark it. Then the neck depth for the back, I'm making use of 1.5. For the front, I'm making use of 3.5 inches, and then I'll connect this. So for my sleeve opening here, which is my armhole, I'll go ahead and mark the same shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5, and I have it here. So I'm going to draw a straight line here. Then the armhole circumference is 16.5, but I'm going to make it 17 inches. So 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So I'm extending my line to this point. And we know that our shoulder is slant, it's not straight. So we are making use of a shoulder slope of 1 inch. So we come down from here by 1 inch, and then we connect this to here. So the next thing is our horizontal measurement. And starting from our bust circumference, the bust circumference of my client is 36 inches divided by 4 is 9 inches. Then the waist circumference of 30 inches divided by 4 is 7.5. Hip circumference of 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. Then this 9.5, I'm also marking it on the hemline here. But because this is flayed, this is going to be flayed, I'm adding extra 2 inches on the hemline. And now the hip has allowance, extra allowance. So I'm making use of 2.5 as that free allowance. And I'm adding the same thing on the hemline if I have it here. Then an allowance of 1.25 inches. The 0.25, I'm going to use it to turn the lining. So 1.25 is here. And I'm going to connect everything together. From the side hemline, I'll come up by 2 inches to curve the flay out. Then I'll connect it. So I'm cutting this off. And now to complete our armhole from here to here, find the midpoint, mark it out. Then on there, you go in by 1/2 inch. This is for the front. We have a bust on the front and it makes it curvier than the back. So you go in by 1/2 inch, connect it here. Then you connect this to the bust. We can now add 1/2 inch allowance here, 1/2 inch allowance here, 1/2 inch allowance on the back and the front. Okay, but before I cut this, I want to place it on the back and cut for the back neckline, cut for the back armhole. You know, the back armhole is straight, the straight one. Then you now add your 1/2 inch joining allowance.
Let me show you how to add waist dart. Although in mine, I later took it off for the front. I didn't use that again for the front. Please note.
Our waist is here. So the nipple to nipple of my client divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. I have it here. Mark it here also. Mark it on the hip, 3.5 inches. And from our bust, we come down by 1 inch because we do not want a pointy dart. From our hip, we come up by 2 inches. Then we make a straight line. Then on this waist, we are taking in a normal dart of 1/2 inch on both sides. 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. And we connect them. So because we are taking this, we are sewing this inwards, to avoid our waist being shortened by 1 inch, we are going to replace this dart of 1 inch on the side. And I'm adding back that 1 inch in our 1.25 sewing allowance. Then I can now go ahead and amend my connection. So I'm connecting this back to the hip. So you can see this is the front and I've trimmed the side and I placed it on the back. You see this is on fold and with the lining. So this is the allowance for the back. So if you notice, I gave allowance here. This is my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. So I placed the front after 1.5 inches here. Then one thing about the back is to eliminate the zipper bulge. How do we do that? This is the waist. And this is the zipper allowance. This is it, 1.5 inches. Forget about this, I'm trimming it out. So on the waist, you come in by half an inch or 0.75. So you come in by half an inch. On the true waist itself, you come in by half an inch also. I'm going to connect this right to this tip, connect this back here, connect this down, connect this down. But we are doing the connection on the back, please. So do you now see? So our zipper allowance is kind of curved here. I'll drop the link on how to eliminate zipper bulge. Go ahead and cut this. Meanwhile, because this we've cut and we entered inside, it has shortened our waist by half an inch on fold, as you can see. So we need to replace the half an inch on the side here before it will be short. I add half an inch and then connect it back here and back here on. So this is for the back. Trim this. Don't forget to notch your centers. For the front, we complete the cutting. You know, the dart for the front stopped 1 inch below the bust, but the dart for the back stops on the chest. So this is for my chest. Poke here, open up. This is my back side, and I'm going to make a mark on both the lining and the main fabric. So that's how I'm going to transfer this point, this point, this point to the back and also onto the linings. This is the transfer.
Following the shape of the front armhole, I just added 0.5
I'm
allowance and
going
I'm
to start
cutting.
from here and I'm going to measure. So I'm not measuring the allowances. And what I have here, I'll just pick it and continue for the back. So what I have is 17.5 inches. I have a fabric folded here for the two sleeves, you can see, and I also have the lining behind it. The starting point line, which is 0.5. Cap height is 4 inches, and the sleeve length I'm working with is 13 inches. I have just half inch hemming allowance. So the armhole circumference is 17.5 divided by 2 is 8.75. So it's from this here. I'll find where the 8.75 falls, and I have it here, 8.75. Then I'll connect it, find the midpoint, and then on this side I'm coming up by half an inch. Well, I'll just draw a curve randomly, connect it back to here, and this will be for my back. Then for this circumference, what I'll do is I'll root this line straight first, and then I'll have to play it here. So I'm just coming out by 2.5 inches, connect it back here. Here I'll just make a slight curve. Then for the front line here, I'm going inwards by half an inch. You know, I will link up how to draft a basic sleeve so that you will get it directly. My talk is not also helping matters. So do you see, this is for the front. So while cutting, I'll just add my allowance for the back, and also allowance here I'm making is of 1.25. So I'm following the line of the back side first. I'm going up above it by 0.5. So I'll open this up now and I'll cut for the front. And this is for the right side, while this one is for the left side. So you place them with their respective linings. Then I want to go ahead and iron this piece of paper. I will just cut it the shape of this, you know, starting from here, the waist down, both for the front and the back side. I'll iron it onto it. And then the next thing is for the Ankara on the front. So I have my African print here, and this is the waist. So let me just roll it out. This will lie half an inch below the waist. Just look at what I'm doing. Just making a curve. I could either fold it here and sew, fold, fold here and sew before I use my trimming and also sew on top to seal those edges. So what I did here is something quite random, but let me explain. With my iron, I have my center. I already know my center here. So that center, I went on each side by 2.5, 2.5, and I marked it. So, and I went up on it by 6.5. So that's how I made this mark. And also here, I went away also by 2.5, another 2.5. So I went further on this one by 7.5. And on this one, I just went up by 9.5. I just marked a line here. So it's just something random. From the armhole, I marked a line. And there, in all those places, I'm going to sew in trimmings.
I'm reducing the front and back lining by 1 inch because of the kind of finishing hem we want to achieve. So you reduce yours by 1 inch.
So quickly, let me just tell us, because I don't want to have another line apart from these designs I have here. I'm not adding any dart on the front again. So you remember how it was before I added this dart? The line was here before I now added the dart intake allowance of 1 inch. So I'm still going to cut off this place down to the hip. This is the hip. Then for the back, I'm going to take in the dart, but the dart starts from the chest. So how do you take the dart? Fold it over this way, and from the chest line, I'm going to sew, come inside, take this one, then take it back up to wherever it stops. I'm going to take the dart for the lining separately and for the back piece separately. The next thing is for the knit turning, right side facing your lining. You're going to, the line, remember the lining is shorter than the main fabric. So you're going to arrange it properly, and I'm going to sew down here just with 1/2 inch up to this very side. And when I'm done with that, we'll now drag it up to get to the normal level it should be. It will be somewhat like this. Then I'll sew the side with the 0.25, sew this side also with 0.25, so that I will turn it so that the side will be neater. Then for the back, as you can see, I've gone ahead to take in the darts. This is the dart. I've taken in the dart both for the main dress and the lining respectively, and we're also going to turn it right side to right side. You match it and sew, then you drag it up, sew this side and sew the zipper side, and if you are done with that, it will look like this. So I've done this one already. I dragged it up here and sewed. So I started from the neck region, and when you're done, you're going to notch it for ease. So do that and be right back. Next, we're going to join it on the shoulder. This is the back piece. Arrange it properly. Now, instead of joining this straight like this, right side to right side, and joining it straight with 1/2 inch, what I'm going to do is, for a neat finishing, I'm just going to open it up this way. You see, I will sew lining to lining, fabric to fabric. Make sure that at this point they are matching accurately, you get. So I'll sew it with 1/2 inch. Do it for the other side. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to use my hemming gum to finish up the neckline so that the lining will not show on the front side. So I'll align it under here and then go and iron it, making sure that the lining is not coming on the front. Do it for both the front and the back. And this is it after sewing. As you can see, I have a shoulder pad here that I want to use. Just want to do some trimmings on this because as you can see, they are all equal. Like if I put it this way, I'm afraid that this side may pop up from inside. That's what I'm doing. Just slightly trimming. And on the lining, that midpoint lies here. And then I'm going to use my needle and tack this point. So this is it. The next for the sleeve attachment, you go ahead, you see that you're lining. I went ahead to reduce the hem by just half an inch so that I will have a hem that is looking a little like this dress. So this is the right sleeve. So right side facing the lining, sew the hem side by half an inch. See, this is the left sleeve. So when you drag it up, the lining will be a little bit shorter than just very little. So when you are done with that, this is the left armhole I have here, and this is the left sleeve. So this shoulder line to the notch, we're going to match it, pin it there, and this lining, we take it backwards, merge it also notch to notch. We're going to align it properly, just keep matching it until you get to the side of the dress. Now at this point, you are going to sandwich this inside. You sew it here by just 0.25, that's quarter inch. When you get to the armhole side, half an inch. You align the other side too properly. Sandwich this inside. This is it. When you get to the side too, you just pick the lining of the sleeve and the sleeve itself, you sew. But now I'm going to leave like 3 inches opening where I'm going to drag this out. When you're done with this, you also do it for the other side. And when you're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and attach my zipper. Bring it out from here. Take your time and just bring it out. This opening, we are just going to fold it inwards this way and take it to our sewing machine and just top stitch it close. You see how neat the inside is. You see the shoulder part. You see the sleeve side. You see the side. You see the zipper area. You see the hemline everywhere is just very neat. And that is what we want. You see the shoulder, right side to right side. I stretch it out properly and I've pinned it. Side allowance was 1.25, right? But I said I was going to use 0.25 to turn this lining, which we've used. So the remaining allowance, side allowance should be 1 inch. So you just have to measure 1 inch all the way. I'm just going to take it and sew it down. Do the same for this other side also. So this is it, and with this we come to the end of this class. Just go ahead and iron it, and if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share with family and friends. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us, and see you in a very good next one. Bye.